This first poem is dedicated to Anselm Hollow, who was, maybe I'll stand up. I can't really see. He was a teacher and translator. He was from Finland, and he died a couple years ago. Sure. Sensation for Anselm Hollow. Helsinki in good order in my mind, construction streamlined, separate luminous slivers, tailored toward the lived in to die for, turning everyone on at such length. I hung around and set in mainly reliving the party. I stepped down on carved headboards, and on the tapestries, video arcades became ceilinged walkways. The dream machines deal in translation. Take out north, put blank, haunting horror, escape. Float the next Etruscan gold split, part of the sky I like. The ants are red and black in one body. They carry and lock off the garnets as seeming gifts to us. This is called Aquarelle. Bent at my desk in pieces, in starlight's wire clutch, the eye is caught, staring into splinters, like the warble of the dove at the start of rain, and the curve of the cane to follow its script. The lord of the nadir is the black sun, a hot whiskey with anise wash, small circular brush to lash and gather, to be trans, not destroyers. Continuous snowfall recorded, crystals tapping colors out from their centers. My idealized voice, in fact, a ruin. I can't freeze lines together any longer. I need hot flowers, figures ripped loudly from their boxes rather, off balance, crumbling smoke, losing the light, lifted. And this was a poem I wrote for Norma Cole. He was a local legend, translator, poet, Canadian. It's called Incision. The gauze in hair-sprayed lilac mist. Out from her green box she draws innumerable diagonal swords, each pointed inward, definite kingdoms announcing their grip in flickers, always with adjacent alloyed counting house. A blizzard of crystal is blushing, outside the searchlights all shored up, at rest, full pleasure past our secret. We will continue in our work and bodies, no choice as to when architecture must intervene. Sun beheaded, blank, no blood. It is the occasional bend in a turnpike, a long curve to break my fitful sleep. A trampling heard clearly, intermittent nails pounded around the door. More snow is springing loose. And this was sort of, this is one of three kind of landscape poems. It's called In and Around Port Angeles, which is in Washington. Crescent was the lake, and Air Crest a motel. Mind stuck at my sources. A flimsy strip of rooms painted spotless insides. A blossom curled to its drink in the glass jar. Fluid as past saviors and poet explorers, Philip with the shade of Miss Kids. Any rough land rises with light. A peeling red house, rotten wood trim. It felt empty from across the river. I was a giant bent at the waist with massive reach through lines of rain. Combing knots from the fog clear down through the pine. Tiny points of bloody lime ink rejoined every image, meaning light pressed the day long. Menacing cord, congested, hall of mosses, bump and narrow bridge. I fell out alone and so solid, reciting my crystalline little head off in slick and banded verse. Oh, the air from the valve that burns which glyph. This one's called Thrones. This is kind of a takeoff of a Philip Lamantia potlatch poem. But I just used all dead African American artists. It's called Thrones. For Phyllis Wheatley, a book of verse uncovered in cornerstones of a Moorish castle, purple and gold depicting souls in various stages of release. The pitch, anger, and arc of the poems, an unrhymed mirror to the long Atlantic. For Jane Cortez, an intertribal grand entry of poets in cedar bark jackets, split skirts and whalebones pinning them closed, a voice in praise and suspension of the drum. For Amiri Baraka, the Pisan Cantos decoder ring, dipped in Black Hills gold, slipped onto the finger of Danielle Luna, who is Cleopatra reborn, sleeping soundly in bed. For Bob Kaufman, a clamp for the mind, docking in a Persian house of ill repute, a striped gabardine diary, and the American prison system picked open with an amethyst knife. For Henry Dumas, a window open on the fog of New York, a studio with desk lamp and a shadow of his writing self, pointing back at certain habits, taking off his coat to sit, spilling a little coffee, with all of eternity waiting, enthralled. For Bob Thompson, an all-expense-paid trip back to Rome on a riverboat tied with roses, its ballroom filled with golden ghouls and hugely debutante postures collapsed. The walls are wet with organ music. For Alice Coltrane, a custom isolation booth, the exact size of Stravinsky's last silhouette. He stares out, he taps from behind the green glass. For Stephen Jonas, your favorite Eric Dolphy faded to a room of golden tasseled light, a couch of friends' faces smeared in a gleaming silver crown. And this one's called Mornings in Mexico, and it's for Brian. Admire tiny coiled pots, make cave paintings on postcards for mom. All saints are freed from their hollows. Clean the pipes and small onyx mirror, early reflections. Rent a place in the sun. Hire a car. Listen to girls. Vomit. Watch the video. Buy water. Pass endless rows of totems. Abalone eyes. Count boats on the moonlight. Closed. Striptease for the sauna maid. The gay guide is free and imprisons me. Buy a black painted ram's head. Shellacked. Wear it around. Shop well together. Thank you.